Conversation with Denver Mayor John Hickenlooper.
So Mayor Hickenlooper, thank you for ducking in here for a moment. I really appreciate it. These kinds of events really mean so much to so many communities, and especially for this community to have you show up and support this event. They have repaid that with great respect and affection to you. What is it that keeps you coming back to these kinds of events like the Matthew Shepard Foundation event?
Well, I'm not sure that it means that me being here means that much to that many people, but it gets to, so it means a lot to me. And I think that in this job you see so many people who have had the most intense tragedies befall them. Mm-hmm. And for most people, they can just barely get themselves together. They can barely just get back to a kind of a numb, almost catatonic life. And then you see someone like Judy Shepard, who has taken the most unimaginable experience you could ever conceive, and she has allowed it to transform her life in a way that not only is there an edge and a mission, but there's joy, right? That she's
absolutely.
Someone who spreads and creates joy, and so for me, to a certain extent, this is one of those, at a certain point you do so many events and you just say, God, no more. But this is one where I think I get recharged. I come back, every time I see her, I come back and go, okay, that's how it's supposed to work. That's, my little complaint yesterday seems pretty pathetic.
For the Matthew Shepard Foundation to choose Denver to have as its home, I think that might surprise some people, since they didn't live in Colorado. He didn't go to school in Colorado. There really wasn't that strong a connection. What do you think is it about the environment here in Denver that allowed them to choose this as their home?
I think a couple things. I mean, the tragic death of Matthew Shepard occurred in Wyoming. Mm-hmm. Colorado and Wyoming are very similar. We have some of the same, backwards thinking in the kind of rural western areas you see in, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico.
We're neighbors.
Right, and in a sense, we're all community. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, Denver has, I think, one of the more robust, politically active gay and lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered communities, really, in the United States.
I think that would surprise a lot of people.
It always surprises me when you go to certain events. But I think that kind of mixture, that soup, that stew of these different elements and so many different people from different backgrounds that are all, mm-hmm. They are around social justice, right? And they are right. around trying to change the sense of, the people's attitudes, right? Lincoln's old thing about it's all, people ask whether it's better to be a senator or whether to be in the Supreme Court. And he says, no, you missed the whole point. It's all about sentiment. It's about public sentiment. He says, with sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. Mm-hmm. And they said that's why those who mold public sentiment go deeper than those who enact statutes or pronounce decisions by legislators or judges. And that's what this foundation, what the Matthew Shepard Foundation does, is it really molds public sentiment. It begins to change. Passing hate crime legislation, I don't think it scares that many people. I don't think the fear that now they could be breaking a law, what it really does is it makes people aware that this is going on.
Right.
And makes people talk about it and creates a change in the public sentiment.
The public sentiment that you cite, and I love that quote, by the way, there's something unique to the environment here in Colorado and the Denver metro area specifically, that there is a part of our culture here that demands of us to participate in our community.
Right.
What do you think that it is that fosters that here differently than it does in some of our neighbors?
Part of Denver in Colorado is that so many people have moved here for the quality of life, mm-hmm. for the community, for the 300 days of sunshine, the proximity to the Colorado Rockies. You come to a place not for a promotion or a new job, but to, for a quality of life. And that quality of life isn't just bike paths and hiking and skiing. That bike path, that quality of life is also the people and that sense of social equity, mm-hmm. that people, and that we are, people who come from all different places and settle somewhere think that they can change things, And Andy Warhol said one time, I'll get this wrong, but it was something along the lines of, people say that time changes all things, but in the end, I think you have to change some things yourself. right?
Yes.
And it's so, I mean, I think that's true of people that come to a place for quality of life, right? At a certain point we say, well, we're not going to wait for time to change these things. Let's get together and change it ourselves.
I think that sums it up nicely. And I know there's so many people waiting to talk to you. Thank you for taking some
It's
time
good
to
to
meet
see
us.
you.